Hello, everyone, and welcome. Have you ever heard someone say, for goodness sake, and you just felt totally confused? You might think, what does goodness have to do with anything? Well, don't worry. Today, we're going to break down this phrase so you can understand it and start using it too.
So, here's our plan. First, we'll start with a funny little story. Then, we'll get into what the phrase really means. After that, we'll see how you can use it in your own life, learn some cool facts, and end with a quick quiz to check your understanding. Let's get started.
All right, let's jump right in with a funny mix-up. This little story shows exactly why this phrase can be so tricky when you're learning English. Okay, so let's meet Anna. She's just moved to a new town, and right now she's at a market with her friend Sarah. For Anna, everything is new and super exciting. But then, whoops, Sarah accidentally drops her whole bag of apples. They go rolling everywhere, all over the ground. She looks down at the mess and says loudly, "For goodness sake." Now, Anna is just standing there, completely confused. She thinks to herself, goodness, is Sarah talking about selling something good? She really thinks the phrase is about being good, but that's not it at all. Poor Anna. But you know what? It is totally okay to be confused by that. So let's clear things up and learn what for goodness sake actually means. So what does it really mean? For goodness sake isn't about being good. It's an expression you use to show a strong feeling. You can say it when you feel surprised, annoyed, or maybe just tired of waiting for something. Aha! A light bulb goes on for Anna. Now she gets it. It's a phrase about feelings. So, a little later that day, Anna is at a bus stop, and she sees a very, very long line of people waiting. And this is how we know she really understands. She thinks, for goodness sake, we are going to be late. She's feeling impatient because of that long line, and she uses the phrase perfectly in her head. Great. Now that we know the meaning, let's look at a few more ways we can use for goodness sake in everyday situations. You can use this phrase to show different feelings. For example, if you're annoyed, you might say, "For goodness sake, can you please be quiet?" If you're really surprised, you could say, "For goodness sake, you won the lottery." And if you're getting impatient, you might say, "Oh, for goodness sake, where are my keys?" Here is a super easy way to remember when to use this. Just think of making a big, loud sigh. You know, that sound you make when you're annoyed or impatient. Well, that is a perfect time to say, "For goodness sake." Ready to learn a bit more? Awesome. Let's check out some fun facts and other phrases that are similar to "for goodness sake." So where did this phrase come from anyway? It's called a minced oath. That's just a fancy term for a polite way to say something else. A long time ago, people would say "for God's sake," but over time, "for goodness sake" became a softer, more polite option. And you'll hear it all the time in movies, especially when a character is frustrated. And there are other ways to say this too. You might hear people say, "for heaven's sake," or "for Pete's sake." They all mean pretty much the same thing. On the other hand, the opposite feeling would be calm, right? So instead, you might say something like, "take your time," or "all is well." Now, let's talk about two common mistakes so you can avoid them. First, always remember this phrase is not about being a good person. It's about a feeling. Second, it's pretty informal, so it's great to use with friends, but you probably shouldn't use it in a formal business meeting. You are doing so well. Now, how about we test what you've learned? It's quiz time. Ready? Let's go. Okay, question number 1. A mother sees her child has spilled milk all over the kitchen floor. She says, "For goodness sake." How does she feel? Is it A, happy, B, annoyed, or C, calm? And the answer is B, annoyed. The spilled milk made a big mess, so of course she feels annoyed. Question number 2. Which sentence uses the phrase correctly? A, "I ate a sandwich, for goodness sake." B, "For goodness sake, this traffic is terrible." Or C, "It is a beautiful day, for goodness sake." The correct answer is B. Being stuck in terrible traffic is a perfect reason to feel impatient or annoyed. Okay, last question. This one is about the history of the phrase, "for goodness sake." Is a polite way to avoid saying what? Is it A, "for my sake," B, "for goodness gracious," or C, "for God's sake"? And the answer is C, "for God's sake." Remember, we learned it's a minced oath that people started using to be more polite. You did a fantastic job on the quiz. Great work today.
Now you know that "for goodness sake" is a very useful phrase when you feel surprised, annoyed, or impatient. So now it's your turn. When was the last time you felt like saying "for goodness sake"? Share your story in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's content, please like and follow. See you next time.